Luka signs a contract extension, 3-year deal. I think it's 2 years and then an option. And you had a lot of players who were there. LeBron was not there, although he FaceTimed Luka. Here's the one curious thing about all of that. Now, LeBron, I think, was posting that he was playing golf at the time.
Dan Patrick didn't need to shout. His tone alone cut deep. With one cold line, he cracked open LeBron's whole leader image. And the wild part, his real aim wasn't even LeBron. It was Bronny.
Great Sunday.
Because when Luka Dončić locked in the biggest contract the Lakers have ever handed out, the entire squad pulled up. Coaches, vets, young guns,
with this
everybody.
Laker team in his
One
seventh
person
year.
who needed to stand there the most,
Like,
gone
that's the
without a
only good thing I
trace.
did today.
That's a motherfucking shot. Shit. Over the trees, huh?
Ain't no 2 days the same, huh?
Ain't no, man. I'm just trying to get better, champ.
Let's
Keep
go.
stacking the days.
Let's go.
So talking in golf, you know he's sorry as hell.
And Dan Patrick refused to let that slide.
Although he faced on vacation. I'm guessing that he knew this was going to happen. But okay, you're on vacation. The one person who I thought should have been there was his son. Like, Bronny James, if he wants to stay longer after LeBron leaves, like, that's your teammate. That's what was surprising. Bronny James should have been there. You're the last guy on the roster. You should be there. Show support. It just felt like, hey, my dad's LeBron. We got a vacation. I mean, that's where you say, Dad, that's my team. It's my teammate. And if LeBron doesn't want to be there, it just feels like there's, a game going on, the passive aggressive, who knows, European League, back and forth. I'm working out at the old Clippers facility, and here we go. You should be there. It's important. But as it was pointed out to me from somebody with the Lakers yesterday, Luka is the face of the Lakers. LeBron's the face of the league. And they both play on the same team. But as I was told last night, hey, make no mistake about it, it's Luka's team. And LeBron knows that. But there's nothing else he can do. Because if he was going to do something, he wouldn't have signed that contract extension. He would have said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bookend this. I'm going back to Cleveland, and I'm going to win another championship there. If it's about winning and you want to have the final say in all of this, you could have. You don't want to lose that address. You want to be in Los Angeles. All your business ties are there. Your family's there. You're there. Be there to support Luka. Now, I know it's not a big deal, but with LeBron, it's always a big deal. Everything becomes a bigger deal because he wasn't there. Bronny should have been. Dad, I'm going to cut short this vacation. I need to be there. I think it's really important. As LeBron, if that's my son and he said that, I'd be like, all right, son, you're right.
Something deep.
You are the 12th man on the roster. You should be there. That quote dropped like a bomb. The NBA media world froze because this moment didn't just expose a slip-up, it exposed a pattern that's been bubbling quietly behind closed doors.
You should be there. But if LeBron FaceTime Luka's fine with it. I mean, I don't think there's any acrimony there. But I think it's awkward. But I also, when this trade happened, I said, if Luka wants to be the best player in the league, all he needs to do is look at LeBron James and what LeBron does to get ready for a season. If Luka does that, Luka can be the best player in the game. And we've seen what's happened this offseason. He's gotten in his best shape. And he's there for a couple more years. He's probably going to be eventually the first player to make $80 million in a season. Almost $1 million a game. That'll be the next contract here. Probably in 2 years when he signs another extension, it'll be for probably close to $80 million.
Something deeper than a missed press conference. Something that could shake the Lakers' chemistry in ways nobody saw coming. And the craziest part, this might be the moment that finally draws a line between Luka and Bronny forever. The privilege talk is unavoidable now. When Luka Dončić stepped up to celebrate that $165 million extension, the cameras were bright, but the empty seats were brighter. LeBron wasn't there. Bro wasn't there. And even though LeBron at least FaceTimed Luka from the golf course, Bronny didn't appear for even a second. That's when Dan Patrick said what everyone else was too scared to point out. If you're the last man in the rotation, you pull up every time. And the internet jumped on it instantly, because Bronny didn't just miss a presser, he missed a moment to show the locker room he's really trying to earn his place instead of just stepping into it. This wasn't about a headline, it was about respect in the league. That's the glue that keeps the locker room together, and that glue just cracked. But to really understand why the moment hit so hard, you gotta look at Bronny's entire entry into the league and why he rubbed some people sideways from day one. The Bronny James experiment has been complicated from the start. Bronny didn't put up big numbers at USC. He wasn't projected as a sure pick, and scouts were split on whether he was ready this year at all. But he still got drafted. And since then, LeBron made it known he wanted to hoop with his son, and the Lakers delivered. But that's where the pressure hits even harder. NBA locker rooms run on merit, and when the 12th man is there mostly because of who his dad is, every move gets judged under a spotlight. That's why this missed presser felt different. It wasn't just a no-show, Smarter Wish. Some people took it as proof of what critics warned about, that Bronny might be relying on the name instead of the grind. And as the media storm exploded, Dan Patrick pushed it even further. Dan Patrick broke the code. There's a quiet rule in sports talk. Derek don't come for LeBron's family. But Dan stepped right through it and highlighted something nobody else dared to say. If Bronny wants a career once LeBron retires, he can't be slipping up in moments like these. Dan wasn't talking about just one event. He was talking about mindset. If that's your teammate, you show up. He painted the picture of what a real fighter would have said. Dad, I need to be there. I'm fighting for my job. Instead, the message that came across, whether he meant it or not, was the complete opposite. And then things got even messier, because this raised a new question. Has the LeBron effect turned into a legacy or a liability? LeBron built an entire era of basketball dominance. But did he also build a bubble around him where accountability starts to fade the closer someone stands to him? That's the tension hanging over the Lakers right now. LeBron didn't just miss the press conference. He dropped golf clips the same moment it was happening that had people wondering if he was sending a message to the Lakers, to Luka, to the whole league, and most of all, what message he was sending to Bronny. Dan Patrick made it clear that any parent in that spot would have told their kid, cut the trip short. That's your teammate. Be there. That's real guidance. Instead, Bronny stayed away, and LeBron let it ride, knowing exactly how the whole thing would look. And that's where it gets tense. Because once LeBron walks away from the league, Bronny won't have that protection anymore. And that moment is creeping up faster than anyone expected. When LeBron's Lakers contract expires, he's expected to retire or dip out. And with Luka steering the franchise now, Bronny's margin for error hits zero. No more legacy cushion, no more media safety net, no more spotlight cover. Suddenly, Bronny has to prove he belongs based on his grind, not his last name. And behind the scenes, some executives are whispering. They don't see enough fire. They see thuggish, but they see comfort instead of ambition. That's exactly what Dan Patrick was warning people about. And that warning hit even harder when Luka stepped into his new role, because this moment shows something bigger. Luka isn't the future anymore. His era already started. For years, everyone wondered when LeBron's run would fade and when the Lakers would officially pivot. And this press conference was the turning point. LeBron missing it, Bronny missing it, Dan Patrick calling it out. Front office rocking with Luka behind closed doors. Pointed to one thing. Luka is the new engine of the Lakers, and LeBron knows it. That's why the FaceTime felt empty. That's why the no-show felt louder than any comment. And now the team's next chapter rests on someone who understands the grind both on and off the floor. But the real question is what this means for Bronny and Luka's world. Dan Patrick wasn't just pointing fingers at a father and son skipping a team moment. He was exposing a whole shift. This wasn't just about one event. This was about legacy, expectations, pressure, and who's ready to carry the weight. LeBron has been the center of the basketball universe for 2 decades. But when his son misses a moment that represents a whole new era, and nobody steps in to steady the situation, it makes you wonder what happens when the king finally steps aside and the next crown isn't guaranteed to anyone.